about family court. When someone is headed to family court, they believe all kinds of things that are not true. Here are some basic things that happen in family court. Justice will be served. Justice is only served in any court if you have enough money. No matter how much proof of wrongdoing of the other party, the judges and lawyers work together to keep you in court spending money. Once there is no more income from the case, your lawyer will drop you. And then when you go to another lawyer, they're going to want a huge retainer, right? I've seen it so many times. It's just ridiculous. The judge will be fair. Judges are bought and used to torture and use torture to break you down, to switch custody to the other parents. If your judge is not following the law, why do you keep using the law to get justice? It's crazy. Like, I mean, if you're going to go be pro se, but you're going to use the law to get, and your judge isn't using the law, and they're not being fair and doing that, why do you keep using the law? Start doing your own case and go outside the court arena to get justice. And, you know, I did all kinds of stuff. I am known all across the U.S. because I went after these people and the things that I did. I used to create invoices. I used to do all different kinds of stuff. Whenever I walked in that courtroom, they never knew what was going to happen. And they would screw me, and I'd put a smile on my face, and I would turn around because they didn't know if I was going to show up at the next meeting they were showing up, or whether I was holding a demonstration or a protest, or what I was going to do. I had them off balance. I learned that little technique. Judges are honest. Everyone knows that lawyers are not honest, and there are jokes about it to prove it. So why is it once an attorney becomes a judge, everyone assumes all of a sudden the judge is honest? Judges were formerly attorneys. Think about it. Think about it. You always say, like, he or she will never get custody of my kids. Not only will your abusive former spouse partner get custody of your kids, but they will get custody of your kids that are not theirs. I have watched this happen several times. It's so you will comply with anything they want you to comply with, right? So I've had moms say, oh, he's never going to get custody of my kids. They ain't even his. And next thing you know, he got custody. And they calling me. And I'm like, tried to tell you. Judges are never biased and always professional. When it comes to money, they will be biased, all right? The emotions of these female judges are out of hand. I'm going to tell you what, female judges have been removed off the bench for their wicked tongues and their verbal abuse they spew at parties on their caseload. My judge has this wicked look, like she could just, her eyes are bugging out of her head, right? And she just looks at you like, oh, I can't believe he just said that, or oh, you did what? When he tells his little lie. It's pretty interesting to see. There is a burden of proof when allegations are made. Hearsay is rampant in family court. If you have upset your judge for any reason, they will never listen to what you have to say, and the other party can only tell the truth. The other party can even be caught in a lie, and the judge will still believe them over you. It happens. I've seen it. It's happened to me. Or they will like, oh, we're going to cancel the hearing today, right? And it never gets rescheduled because you have proof on them of them doing something wrong, and they've sold custody to them. So they can't have it look like they've done anything wrong. Domestic violence victims and their children will be protected. Remember, personal protection order is just a piece of paper. When it is violated, the judge will probably just give them a slap on the hand or maybe like a $50 fine. Judges will sit on the board of domestic violence shelters because they make money off federal grants to be on the board. So when some of these boards, like the domestic violence, whatever, shelters or whatever, right? When they go to get a grant, they have to have like a judge or a lawyer or someone sitting on their board, and there's money for the grants for them, actually. So, yeah, I came across this in some of my studies while I was investigating a domestic violence place that I was sent to go to for supervised visitation. Now, my abusive ex-spouse never got sent for supervised visitations, but, I did because, I'm just this horrible mother, but I've worked in mental health for 15 years. But anyways, that's a whole nother story. I pay my attorney to represent me because they know the law. Oh my God. Get a pro se litigant to ask an attorney to recite a law, and they usually can't. Ask them what law they would use against a certain issue, and they have no idea. A friend of mine used to do this all the time. She would just go up to attorneys and she'd be like, what law would you use against whatever, right? And they would have no clue. What law would you use if you're trying to get, custody of your kids and, whatever? What law would you use for child support if your ex is working under the table, right? They can't tell you. They have no clue. Ex parte communication never happens. The two attorneys and judges will go to lunch and discuss your case and decide the outcome. So my divorce, when we were still going through our divorce, the attorneys went into chambers with my judge. And they came out, and I told my attorney to never leave me in a courtroom alone with my abuser and just sit and watch me on camera. And the look on his face was like, damn, she knows. They also do this because they're making more money, right? The Court of Appeals will fix the judge's mistakes. Trust and believe. The Court of Appeals doesn't do shit. The Court of Appeals judge will reverse the orders and send it back to the lower court, aka your freaking judge, and nothing's going to get done, right? And they will do something to make sure you don't get custody back or whatever you went to the Court of Appeals for. I know a mom that they reversed the orders and they made her get a drug test done, right? And they said that she had drugs in her system, and she didn't have any drugs in her system. She even saved a piece of her hair to even prove it. And she decided that she just couldn't put her child through it anymore, and she just couldn't do it anymore. And going through this whole court thing, it was huge. It was in the media, actually, and she just decided she couldn't do it anymore. So she just dropped it and ended up moving on with her life. So before they get to the point where they want to run a psychological evaluation on you and make you look like you're the bad parent because they sold custody of the other parent, you can be assessed for trauma symptoms before a mental disorder can become present. So just keep aware that before they go to use this tactic, go get diagnosed somehow, some way with post-traumatic stress disorder or something like that. So that way you don't have to go through their psychological evaluation person, because they're expensive. And a lot of people's insurance won't pay for it, or if you don't have insurance and you can't afford it and you can't pay for it, they're going to pay for it, but they're going to send you to someone that they contract with, right? So get that done before they can do that. And I'm sure if you get it done, they're going to be like, oh, they're not professional, whatever. So make sure they're a professional and, it's on the up and up. So there are some things that you might want to be aware of before you step into the arena.